Welcome to I Don't Know What I Want to Do. My name is Tamara Small. I am a career development manager in the Graduate Business Career Services office. And today we're going to talk about I don't know what I want to do. What I generally find that you fall into two different career paths. There's path A, that's a straight, direct path, and there's path B, where it's more a zigzag. For people in Path A, generally these are people who decide at an early age or a young age that they know what they want to do. They go to school, they get licensed, they become it. These are careers like doctors, lawyers. They know if you want to be a doctor, you must be pre-med, go to medical school, pass your boards, do your clinicals, and then you become a doctor. And it's a very clear path. May not be an easy path, but it's a clear path. For the rest of us, and probably most of you on the call today, it's the path that looks more like B. It's a zigzag. You may start it out in one career, then you move over to here, then you move over here, then you move over here. And sometimes you may be making upward movement. Other times you may make lateral moves. Each time it's something different. And when you fall into the B category, many times people get overwhelmed about their future. And what I recommend is you just think about what is your next step, because it's likely you'll have 7 careers in your lifetime. I know I didn't check the status lately, but I know previously it was we have at least 7 careers in our lifetime today. So more people are going to be in the path B than path A. So given this, instead of thinking about what am I going to do for the next 30, 40, 20 years, think about what could I do in the next 6 months to a year, depending on if you're an MBA student, MSF student, you're going to have different timelines. Think about what can I do next? Does that mean get an internship? Does that mean do a consulting project? Does that mean get involved with the community? What is the next step? And you just want to continuously build upon what you can do to reach that next career goal instead of thinking long term about your whole career path, because you never know where you're going to be 5 years from now. One of the first ways to figure out what you do want is to do a self-assessment. And we're going to do a few activities today that can help you determine some of that. And if you didn't hear me, I do want you to have at least 2 pieces of paper so you can do an activity in a pen. When you're doing the self-assessment, you want to find out, who are you? What is your personality type? And you could do this through structured self-assessments. You may have done this in a class where you've taken Myers-Briggs. You may have taken a career leader. You can also just think about it. What were things as a child that really interest you? What do your friends and family say you're automatically good at? Many times the things that we're good at, we don't know because it's something that's automatic and we think everyone has that, but it's not everyone. I had an individual in my office and I was talking to him and he was providing a lot of context regarding his situation and his history. And I am certified in Clifton Strength Finder. And I said, well, have you ever heard it? It sounds like you might have context as a strength. And he's like, what do you mean? And I provide an example. Context is where you give more information. You give the history, you give the background in order to give a fuller meaning to something. And when somebody has that strength, they need that from people around them. So if you told someone with context, hey, I need you to go develop that project, they would need to have context of what does that mean? What is it going to be used for? They'll have a lot of questions in order for them to grasp where they go next. So when you know your strengths, when you know your personality, and he had no idea that that was a strength. He said, doesn't everybody do that? I'm like, no, that's actually unique to you. A lot of people have it, but not everyone. So what is your personality type? Who are you? Are you introvert or extrovert? You may say, well, why does that matter? Well, if you're an introvert and you gain your energy from being within and being alone, then you probably don't want to do a job that has you out around hundreds of people on a daily basis. Maybe you could do it a little bit, but maybe not all the time. If you're an extrovert, you probably don't want to sit alone in a cubicle by yourself all day. So you want to think about, are you introvert, extrovert? Do you like to take initiative? Do you want autonomy? Think about who are you and what do you like? So moving on to what are your likes, what are your dislikes? So what are your likes? Again, I mentioned your personality, but then what are things that you just like? Do you like public speaking? Do you like to analyze data and information? Do you like to lead people? Do you dislike leading people? So think about what are your likes and dislikes. So take away the job title. So instead of thinking, what job title do I want? Who are you and what do you like? If there isn't a job title attached to it, just in general, what do you like and what do you dislike? Then we talked about your strengths. You can just think about your strengths. What are you good at? Are you good at analyzing numbers? Are you good at math? Are you good at, do you understand business acumen? Are you a super Excel user? What are some of your strengths? If you want to put official names to some of your strengths, the Clifton Strength Finder is a great tool. Gallup organization now is the, I believe, owner of it. So you could do online assessment. I believe it's around $10 or $12, or you can purchase a book and take the assessment, and it'll give you your top 5 strengths. Now, this isn't going to tell you what you should do with the rest of your life, but what it will do is give you a name to talk about 5 of your strengths that you probably never realized they were strengths. And by knowing those, it can help you decide some career paths that you might want to look at. And I'll give you an example. So, 2 of my strengths, one of the first ones is an activator. And an activator is somebody who gets things done. So I'm a person who can take ideas and put them into action. Well, if I was to take a job that I never got to implement anything and we only brainstormed, that would be highly frustrating to me. So that helps me decide what kind of job and some jobs I wouldn't want to do. I'm also futuristic as a strength of mine. That's looking ahead, seeing things, seeing consequences of things down the road. They say the analogy they give is like a giraffe with its head over the crowd. You can see what's going to happen up ahead. Not everybody can do that. So that helps when planning things, that helps to look at where there might be bumps in the road. So by you knowing your strengths, you can help decide what are some ways that I could use those strengths, what are some careers that I might be able to really flourish due to my strengths. Next, it's looking at what are your values. Now, your values, there are some assessments, but also this is something you could just write down or discuss with a partner, a family member, or friend. Values are things that you want. Values are, okay, let's look at, do you want to work a 9 to 5 job? Would you like to be home every day by 5 o'clock? Do you want varying hours? Do you want a lot of money? Is money your top value? Is safety, security? What are the things that are important to you that are must haves in your life and in your work? So you want to look at your values. So self assessment is one of the first ways to look at how you can determine what you want to do. Next, let's go ahead and learn about you. So I asked you to take out a piece of paper and we're going to create a list for you. So I want you to take out a piece of paper and we're going to do an activity, and I want you to write down your answers to the next activity. What did you like about your most recent role? So thinking about your most recent job, internship, thinking about a project you worked on. What did you like most about that recent role? So on that piece of paper or on that computer, I want you to type out or write out, what did you like most about your recent role? So on your piece of paper or on a computer, you can type it up in Word, but we will want you to have a piece of paper. What did you like most about your most recent role? And I want you to try to come up with 5 different things that you liked most to help you determine this. Okay, we're going to move on. What was missing from your most recent role? So on that same piece of paper, I want you to come up with 5 things that were missing from your most recent role. So think about 5 things that were missing from your most recent role. And again, you want to write this down on the piece of paper. Could it be collaboration? Could it be autonomy? What are things that were missing from your most recent role, project, internship, or job? So by the end of these two questions, you should have a list of 10 things. And then this list will help you decide what to look at when you're networking and when you're searching for jobs. And it'll help you determine, oh, I like to collaborate and work with people. I like to have autonomy. I want to work for a prestigious company. I really like that. So then when you're looking at opportunities, you want to measure this sheet with the opportunity and see if it lines up with what you said you wanted. If it doesn't have most of the things that you want, then it might be an opportunity you want to pass up, unless you just need to immediately gain experience. But if it's something that you know you would not like, then maybe that's an opportunity you want to pass up. Knowing what you do want or knowing what you don't want is one step closer to knowing what you do want. We're going to do another activity, so I want you to have a different sheet of paper and pen. And this is going to be another more brainstorming activity. So what I'm going to have you do, and if possible, you want it on a blank sheet of paper. Some instructions is I want you to write in all caps. And first, what I want you to do in the middle of your sheet of paper is draw a circle like I have here on the screen. And in that circle, I want you to write in all caps, my next job. And what you're going to do, and I want you to just let your brain flow, I want you to write, you're going to scribble little branches. So imagine this is a circle, and these are branches along the circle. And I want you to write things that you'd like in your next job. So example, flexible schedule. So I want you to let your mind just flow and write, what do you want in your next opportunity? So without thinking about the title, what would you want? So thinking about how do you want it to feel? Do you want a welcoming environment? Do you want a structured environment? Do you want to make, how much money would you like to make? So I want you to just let it flow and draw as many branches as you'd like. And on each branch, in all caps, describe what you want from your next opportunity. Do you have a particular location that you'd like? And you're just going to continue to draw those branches and continue to write those words. Do you know what industry? Do you know what kind of skills you'd like to utilize? What are the things that you want in your next opportunity? And you don't want to overthink it. You want to just let it flow, and you want it to come from your right brain that is just creative and just can let the information come out. Something that you also want to add somewhere on the sheet of paper is when you want to attain this goal. So if you're graduating May of 2019, do you want the job you want to start the job in May of 2019, or would you like to start the job at another point? If you're graduating in 2020, do you want the opportunity in May 2020, or do you want to maybe look at this for the internship or another project? So somewhere on the sheet of paper, I would write when you would like to obtain this next opportunity. So once you have this completed, and this should only take you a couple minutes, is you want to use this also as a guide when you're searching for opportunities, when you are networking with individuals. You now have kind of a roadmap of the things that you'd like and the things that you want in your next opportunity. So when you see an opportunity, maybe a job posting on Handshake or something, someone tells you about an opportunity, you want to look at the list that you created when you didn't have this position and say, okay, does this have what I was looking for? Is this something that uses my strengths? Is this something that matches my values and aligns with what I'm looking for? So you want to keep this available, maybe take a picture of it with your phone so you have it on your mobile device, but you want to keep this and compare it to things that you're looking at or exploring. Next I'm going to discuss some group activities that you can do with other people to help you meet people and network and try out different careers. There are several ways you can explore careers and learn about what you may want to do. First, that's job shadow. I'd highly recommend you conduct a job shadow. I've had several students who have entered into law school, and then after they start the program and that they get exposed to law, they realize, I don't think I want to be a lawyer. Well, what would have been great is prior to going to law school, if they had actually done a job shadow. What this means is that you go to somebody's work and you observe what they do for a half day or a day to see, is this something that you'd like? What is the reality of that job? Because you can look at a job, you can talk to people about a job, but watching someone do a job is very different. If we think about heart surgery, you could read about heart surgery, you can watch videos about heart surgery, but if you were sitting in the OR watching someone conduct heart surgery, it would be a little different experience. So if you can, do some job shadow. Do some job shadows of careers that you think you might be interested in, and maybe in some fields that you're ruling out just to confirm that you want to roll out that area. Next, it's volunteering. You want to volunteer and find out. You can volunteer for companies that you think you might want to work for. So that can help you get exposed to the company culture to see if you'd like to be a part of it. There's a gentleman that I recently met who would like to become a career coach. He's retired and he has some exposure working with veterans transitioning to the civilian world, but he's never been a career coach in higher ed. Well, what he did was he contacted me through a friend and said, "Oh, I'd love to do this. If you have any ideas?" I was like, "Well, I think volunteering." A week later, there was an opportunity for him to volunteer. So I emailed him and said, "Hey, we're doing mock interviews here at the university. Would you be interested in volunteering?" He said, "Absolutely." So this week, he's actually going to be volunteering with our organization. So he's going to get a taste of what it's like to conduct mock interviews with students. He's going to get a taste of University of San Diego and see if it's a place he might want to work. And then he continued to network and see how he might be able to obtain employment here or maybe somewhere else. So it's a great way to get involved and to get in front of people you might want to work with. Informational interview. You'll hear this probably in any webinar or workshop that I give. I talk about informational interviews. And this is where you're asking someone who is in the career field or who works for a company you may be interested in. So maybe you don't know what you want to do, but you know some companies that you might want to work for, but you just don't know exactly what title you'd want to take on. So what you can do is find individuals using LinkedIn, using family and friends, using your faculty member, using career services to talk to individuals or alumni who are in those career fields. So let's say you want to go into management and you want to be an operations manager. Well, what you want to do is find somebody who's an operations manager and you want to talk to them about it. What is your day like? What do you love most about it? How did you get there? What advice would you have somebody who's in a first-year MBA program or second-year MBA or somebody who's in an accelerated Master's of Science program? So you want to talk to them about what they did and get advice. This is a great way to explore different careers without making a major investment. And it's also a great way to become competitive once you do figure out what you'd want to do. So there was a Master's of Science student recently who wanted to go into wealth management, and I was able to connect him with a wealth management company alumni, and she had never actually conducted a mock interview before, or excuse me, an informational interview, but I explained what it was and said, "I have a student interested in one. Would you be open to doing one?" She said, "Sure." And so she conducted the informational interview with the student. The student said it was so valuable. She was a vice president. She was just able to share so much knowledge. But what was interesting, she wasn't familiar with the terminology, and he hadn't done very many. So introducing them to that topic was beneficial for both of them. The next way to gain exposure to different careers to help you decide is case competitions. Now, case competitions are where you go and you grab a couple friends and you compete against others and use the knowledge that you've gained from your coursework to try to win a competition. There's a variety of case competitions. One that's popular here at USD is the ACG Cup. and many times it deals with mergers and acquisitions. So what you would do is you're given a case of a merger and acquisition, and then you and your teammates have to decide what would be a great way to purchase this, looking at financial models and determining the valuation of the company. And then you make a recommendation to the judges on how to purchase it, or if to purchase, if to do a merger, what you would do. And then the judges decide if you'd be good at, if you were the winners or not. And you may find out that this is something you'd like to do, or you may find out from taking on this case competition that, this is not the career that I'd like to go into. So a little bit more about informational interviews. The goal is to acquire information that can help you to learn more about a career, industry, or company. And also, it takes place in person or over the phone. So you could do these with people. You don't always have to go to the person. A lot of times that's the preferred method, but people are quite busy. So maybe you have an executive or somebody who only has 20 minutes a day that they could give you. So why not use that over the phone like we're doing the webinar today? Try to see if you can get at least 20 minutes over the phone with them if they're unable to meet in person. With the case competitions, here we have this is a list of case competitions that we advertise. On the left, it is the name of the competition. In the center, it's what part of the year it takes place. On the right, it's the industry or the focus of the case competition. So you can see we have them for different areas. So if it's a supply chain case competition, they're going to focus on supply chain. If it's finance, that could be about, like I talked about the ACG Cup, that could be more about mergers and acquisitions. If it's looking at entrepreneurship, that's more probably pitching an idea and trying to gain funds for your project or your business idea. So these are a great way not only for you to explore different careers, but also to build up your resume and to gain experience. Using online tools and sites to research is a great way to help you find that ideal career. And we've got some great ones for you. One of the first places that's obvious, but I like to mention it, is company websites. Companies put a lot of information on their websites, but a lot of times people have an idea. So the other day I was looking with a student at Procter & Gamble, and you'd think, oh, Procter & Gamble does household goods and a variety of things maybe that you're familiar with, but you may not know without looking at their website that they have branches all across the nation and worldwide, that the different types of jobs. They had financial analysts. They had tons of jobs that they may have not known had we not visited the site. So look at companies' websites, explore their different offices, explore if they have international components. Glassdoor is another great online site. Glassdoor has many different facets. One, Glassdoor can be used for search for jobs or internships. You can search for companies, and you can also search for salary information. What I love about Glassdoor is people can review the companies and give you pros and cons of the organization. So it's a great way to find out information that a company is not going to have on their website. So it's additional information, and that can help you if you compare it against your values, your wants, your interests, your personality. It can help you determine if you'd like to be a part of that organization. YouTube is also a great way for you to research jobs. And you may say, what are you talking about, Tamara? What it is, YouTube, what it allows you to do is look at videos of people who hold jobs that you might be interested in. Years ago, I had a student who was interested in being either a physician assistant or a nurse practitioner. They have very similar roles, but there are some major differences between them. And by watching some videos on YouTube, she was able to determine, oh, I want to be a nurse practitioner because I can write prescriptions versus a physician assistant. I don't know if those laws have changed, but that's my recollection right now. Then utilize LinkedIn. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Doing company treks. This is where you usually go out of town. We have one coming up in Seattle where you visit another city and you visit companies and you learn about what they do. You take a tour of their organization and you find out different career titles that might be of interest to you. We offer company treks probably about twice a year, but we do company info sessions or visits many Fridays throughout the semester. So We have company lunch visits. So company treks are usually you go out of town. We have company lunch visits where it's usually in San Diego where you go during lunchtime for 2 hours. Or info sessions a lot of times happen on campus where a company comes on campus. Today we had a railroad company come on campus. They talked about their organization and jobs that they're recruiting for and provided you information about how to obtain employment with them. So you're getting inside information from people who work there. So it's a great way to gain an edge with the company, but also for you to just learn about different companies to help you explore, would I like working for this company? Are there some career titles that may interest me? And then we're going to talk about Vault Guides and USD alumni. The USD alumni is a goldmine for you. It is people who've already been in your shoes. All of the programs that we have here are not brand new. Somebody has already taken the program, finished it, and likely obtained employment because of their degree. So it's a great way to find alumni who are in your program and find out what kind of jobs did they do? Where did they go? Did they stay in San Diego? Did they go abroad? Did they go to another city? But talk to them. What did they do? How did their program help them get their next job? Did they do any internships? If so, where? Who hired them? All of these questions can help you determine what you'd like to do next. So with LinkedIn, I want to go into a little bit more detail there. LinkedIn, you can do something that I call the reverse job search. And what this means is you find people on LinkedIn, you look at their profile, you find people on LinkedIn, you can use the alumni tool and find alumni. So if you look up University of San Diego on LinkedIn, there's a button that says See Alumni. When you click on that button, you're going to see these bar graphs to the left. And what you could do, these bars are actually filters, and you can filter out the different alumni. Maybe you're looking for finance. Maybe you're looking at MBAs. Maybe you're only looking in San Diego. And then once you get it down, this has, I think, 366 people. Once you get it down to a reasonable number, you scroll down and you can see the alumni below who match the search criteria that you selected. And then you can look and see, what did these alumni do? Maybe I want to go and do something similar to them. Or maybe you see and if you do see career paths that are of interest to you, you can see, how did they get there? Did they do any internships? Did they progress in their career? Did they start off as an analyst or a manager trainee and then work their way up? So you can see the gentleman, Xavier, on the right. You can see he worked at United Technologies for, I believe it was 3 years, and then he was able to get a position for Airport Authority. If you looked at his full profile, you can see he had an MBA, he's in finance and consulting. So it's a great way for you to explore careers, but if you can find people who are in your program, then you can explore where they went. And if a company hired an MBA or an MSF from USD and they like them, it's likely they'd be open to hiring another MBA or MSF student again. So it's a great way to find opportunities that you might be interested in. What can I do with this major? This is a resource that you can find on Handshake. What can I do with this major? If you have trouble finding that, just email me at Tamara Small or tsmall@sandiego.edu. And you can find that. And what it'll do is it'll tell you what you can do. And I believe I picked finance. So you can see the different areas that hire finance. So we have corporate and public finance. We have banking. We have management, human resource management. So it'll tell you the areas to go into. It'll tell you employers who hire them. So private businesses, state and local governments. And then on the right-hand side, it'll say strategies that you can do in order to gain employment as a financial analyst. Strategies you can do to gain employment as a corporate credit analyst. Or steps you can do to go into types of management. So it's a really simple tool, but it gives you just a simple roadmap that can help you decide what you can do with your area of focus. Again, you can find this via Handshake. Vault via Handshake is also another great resource you can do or you can utilize. So you would go onto Handshake and click on the resources and click on Vault. You'd enter Vault's website, and they have industry guides that are amazing. So you can see here on the top right, you have Vault Guide to Top 50 Management and Strategy Consulting Firms. You have Vault Guide to Top Internships, Vault Guide to Top 50 Banking Employers. So they've done the research for you. And you can see on the left-hand side the industry guide. So if you're thinking about hospitality, advertising, marketing, real estate, nonprofit, law, you can figure out what you would like to do based on these industry guides. It's a great way to find resources. Okay. So before we're going to take a journey in a minute, I want to see if there are any questions. If you do have any questions at this point, then you can just use the chat box on the top of your screen and enter any questions that you may have before we take a little journey. Just give you a few seconds. Okay, I don't see any questions at this point, so we're going to go ahead and move on. I've been career coaching for over about 10 years, and through my, probably 12 now, through my experience, I've learned that many people deep down inside know what they want to do. So I'm going to take you on a little journey. If you're somewhere where you can close your eyes, we're going to just do some visualization. If you're somewhere it's safe to close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you to go along with this. And I want you to go ahead and imagine that you're in this photo, that you're at a fork in the road. And I want you to just go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine two different paths you can take. Maybe you already know those paths. Maybe there's a path that's been set for you on the left-hand side. And maybe there's a path on the right side of something that you really want to do, but fear or family pressures or something else has prevented you from going to that right path. So I want you to envision that left path. And I want you to envision that you're going down that left path. Maybe it's in the career you're already in. Perhaps it's with a company you're already with. Maybe doing the same thing you've done for a number of years. And I want you to imagine you're just going to continue down that same road that you've been going down for maybe the last year, 2 years, 3 years. And imagine what your life would be like a year from now if you continue on that same path that you've been headed for some time. Notice what it feels like when you wake up on a Monday morning. Notice how you feel. What would you be doing? And who would be with you? I want you to go out 3 years from now. You're on that same old path, doing the same things you've always done, not taking any chances. Maybe you're indecisive. Imagine what life would be like 3 years from now. Okay, I want you to come back to that fork in the road. This time we're going to take that right side of that path, that right journey. And imagine you take a chance. You go in a new direction. Maybe there's something deep, deep down inside that you've always wanted to do, but for some reason you've been holding yourself back. Imagine you took that leap of faith and you took a chance. I want you to imagine going down that right path. Imagine your life a year from now. Maybe you took a new internship. Maybe you took a new job. Notice how you feel when you wake up on Monday morning. Notice who's with you. Notice how you feel. Imagine the kind of company you'd be working for. How will people look at you? How would you feel? What kind of money would you be making? Imagine yourself 3 years from now. You took that right path. You took the leap of faith. You gained experience. You got that new job or that new internship. You're making money. You're progressing. Notice what your life is like 3 years from now. Who's with you on this journey? How has your life changed because of these new exciting choices you've made? And what ideas have popped into your head since you've been going on this journey? And now I want you to come back to that fork in the road and know that finding your next opportunity all begins with a decision. It's a decision to decide which path do I want to take. And all you have to do is decide one, do I want to go left or do I want to go right? So it's quickly just make a decision and then go explore, go see what it's like, and find some new opportunities. So, in summary today, first you want to decide your next step, not your entire future. You want to get to know yourself. Doing a self assessment can help you rule out certain opportunities and find opportunities that match your strengths, your personality. You want to explore a variety of careers both in person and online. And you want to imagine what would it be like if you chose a particular path. So that is our webinar for today. We do have some time for questions. If you have questions, you can unmute your phone or you can put them in the chat box. I'll wait a moment to see if there are any questions. Okay. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and I look forward to working with you. If you have any questions or want to work one-on-one with somebody from the university, you're more than welcome to schedule a one-on-one appointment through Handshake. You just log on to Handshake and select Career Services and an appointment, and we'd be happy to work one-on-one with you. Otherwise, we wish you the best of luck with your career search, and let us know if we can be of service to you.